Oh man, if you've seen the show, then you know this is Lucille. And if you haven't seen the show, then this is just a sick bat wrapped in barbed wire. But this is one that I wanted to make for a while, and I figured that it probably wouldn't be too tough or too expensive to go ahead and knock it out. So thanks for coming and hanging out with me while I build it. And I really have a thing for like weapons and TV shows and movies and video games. And I love like the personality that weapons can have and how it adds to the characterization of different characters. For a while, I was looking out for like an old bat on Facebook Marketplace. And apparently, I didn't know this, there's a huge market for old bats and they go for like 80 to 150 bucks. In my area at least. But I hit the jackpot and I found out you can buy unfinished bats on eBay for like $11. And so I got this guy here, $11, and it's already unfinished because if I bought one that was finished, then I would have had to sand it all down anyway. So this just saved me some work. So I got this guy here, 11 bucks, already unfinished on eBay. And it's like a blemished unfinished bat, so you can see it has like a little blemish there, but it's just for my purposes, so I don't care. So let's get into it. I'm gonna do a quick sand on it and kind of start laying it out. So I sanded it all down. I got my roundness on there. You can see I've got my I've got some reference pictures here, different ones, and I have some from the comic and the show because I wanted to have both. If you haven't read the comics, you need to read the comics because this guy has so much more aura, as the kids would say, than this guy. Love Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but he can't compete with Negan from the comics. I mean, look at the, hold on, let me see. I don't know. There's not a great comparison. Either way, but goated. So I printed off both just so I could reference both of them. But I have my oval here that I'm gonna go ahead and cut. All right. So if I'm looking, you know, I kind of feel like it goes about like right there. Kind of right before it really starts dipping down. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of like this spot there. You know what? Maybe I can like disguise that blemish a little bit. All right. So I have some black leather dye that I'm gonna try to use to just do the oval. And we're gonna hope that it's not a catastrophe. Spilling a bunch of dye right off the rip is not a good sign. Okay, so I'm gonna wet my brush, but I'm actually gonna like take off the excess here. I got that, and I'm okay with it. I'm not super happy with it, but I'm not gonna let perfect get in the way of good. I think once I put my finish on there that I'll be happy with it. And I'm gonna let this dry overnight because I don't know what finish I wanna put on here yet. Because if I wanted to just take a bat and make a barbed wire bat, then I can buy a bat, wrap it up barbed wire, okay? But it won't look like Lucille. And I'm trying to make a pretty good Lucille. So I want the color to be there too. And Lucille in the show has like a darker color because it's an aged bat. But I'm gonna let this dry overnight. I don't hate it. So, and then we'll get back at it. Now that this is dry, I decided to stain it because even though linseed oil will darken, like it happens over time, and I want it to be dark right away. So I don't want to wait like months to a year for it to darken naturally. So I decided to use this gun stock stain, and I wish that I could go back and order, like if I could go back, I would get 2 of these because they're pretty cheap anyway. And that way I could have tested out like different stains to get the look that I wanted. But hindsight's 2020. I'm gonna send it on this one, and I hope that it's gonna look good. But if not, then we'll just restart. Let's see here. This is a very professional staining sock. This is a specialty item. They only give it to the best craftsmen. Don't even look for it. But yeah, these work better than anything else ever. Oh my God. I hope this hasn't hope my stain hasn't gone bad. Now, once you used your specialty staining sock, then you grab your specialty staining t-shirt, cut off a strip here, just wipe off the excess. Wow. You know, I really thought I did a good job sanding, but this stain is showing me that I did not. You can see all the darker and lighter spots. That's showing me I didn't do a good job sanding. All right, I'm gonna attack it again because another thing is you wanna let it sit for like 5 to 15 minutes before you wipe it off. And I was worried about letting it sit too long and get too dark, but that could be another reason why I got such a splotchy finish. So you know what? I'm just gonna attack it one more time here. And I'm actually gonna kind of avoid these areas that already look darker. So let's see if we can even it out. But it's also like, this is a, you know, in the connecting into the mind of the show, I suppose. This is a weapon that is being smacked upside zombies' heads left and right. So it's not gonna be a perfect weapon, will it? Fingers crossed. I decided to do a polyurethane because if I did like linseed oil or something, then it would change the color, and I like the color. So I'm just gonna do a satin poly because I don't want like a glossy finish on it. So I'm doing a satin oil-based polyurethane. And as I'm looking at this is like the dingiest, rustiest can of poly that I had in my consumables cabinet. Like, look at the lid. So I gave it a little stir, maybe activate it up a little bit. Yeah, I should probably use something like this, and I'll dump the whole thing because honestly, I don't think that I'm gonna get that lid back on that can anyway. One of my favorite things to have in the garage mahal here is always a box of gloves like this, and I reuse them. Like, I can probably reuse this pair for every step of the way for this bat. Yeah, like a box of 100 lasts forever. And it's so nice because like 1 minute I might be out here doing something like this, and then 5 minutes later I might be inside making dinner. You just never know. So, all right. I hope that this can is still good. We'll see. I'm definitely going for like light coats here. I'll do that last. But polyurethane is great, honestly, for stuff like this because when it hardens up, it's a really it's a very durable, like plasticky finish. Coat number 1, and you're probably gonna see me do, I'm like a 3-coat. I'm like a 3-coat minimum kind of guy. I think that's pretty standard. In between my coats, I'm just gonna set this brush in some brush cleaner, and then I'll do a final brush clean at the end. And if you don't, guys, if you don't clean your brushes and reuse them, you're wasting a ton of money. And I used to not. I used to just buy brushes, use them one project, and throw them away. And once I learned how to clean my brushes the right way, it was so much nicer. Once I get 2 coats on my poly, I'll do a light sand with 220, and it's gonna help give a smooth finish. Like, you feel it right now, it's got some roughness on it. So a little 220 will take it down nicely. And I just go light, like. All right, I'm just gonna take off this dust with my microfiber. A tack cloth works good too. An air hose works good. Ready for the final coat. I am laying this one on a little bit thicker. Just a little bit. So once you start putting the poly on, it does kind of like tack up pretty quickly, which is why, like, when I talk about don't over brush it, What I mean is, like, once I'm down here kind of working on the bottom, I don't want to go back up here and start trying to brush that, because once it's starting to get tacky, it's not going to brush. It's going to gum up more instead of brushing nicely and giving you that pretty even coat that you want. But poly will flatten out nicely if you apply it well. It's a little bit more finicky than like an oil finish. The good news is that like here is going to be covered in barbed wire. So it's not really a super huge deal if it's a little messed up. I have my barbed wire here. I'm kind of unspooling it for a reason, because I feel like it's a little bit too shiny. It's a little bit too shiny. Okay. I'm gonna try to knock it down a little bit. Probably some spray paint. This is definitely one of those things you want leather gloves for. I know I'm not gonna need this much, but like I'd rather do more than not enough. You know? Like, surely that's enough. Right? Surely that's enough. Yeah, I just feel like that'd be too shiny. My idea is gonna be to kind of dust it and hope for the best. I think the colors match better. It is late at night. My kids are all in bed, and I want to work on this bat. So I got to figure out how to hold this down while I wrap it. Okay. So how am I going to do that? Let's see. I have some type of idea. Some type. Well, I got a 2x4. So maybe if I do like this and this, I can clamp it. But I'm going to try to round a little groove in here that might make it grab a little easier. I got a little rasp right here. See if we can. So I've got a little groove in there now. Let's see if that'll hold it down better. And of course I already see kind of a problem here. Maybe I can like pull down the bat. You know, I think that actually did help. So we can see it's not wrapped very thick. So there's never like 3 layers going over each other, except maybe right here. It's not just up like a candy cane. You've got them, some of them are kind of crisscrossed. So it kind of starts on the oval here, and we've got one that goes across the top there. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm using my fencing nails, and then pre-drilling, because I do not want to split the grains of the wood. Hey, wait, the barbed wire. I know. phone keeps dying. My light died. My other light's dead. But I'm gonna get this thing wrapped up tonight. What is this? What do you think, guys? Is that some premium lighting or what? Oh gosh. My phone keeps dying. I have like no storage on it. I know I said there at the end, my phone was dying, I was running out of storage space, all kind of stuff kept happening. And I know I got to fine tune my setup a little bit more to make stuff like that less annoying. But the only thing you missed was I put like one more staple in and I did the top on part. That was it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to get my setup even better. But that was it. And here we have our glorious Lucille. And in another video, maybe I'll make like a stand for it or something like that. But if you have any ideas of other things you want me to make, just leave a comment. If you have thoughts on how I could have done this better, let me know. I'm always trying to improve and just make things for fun. You know, I'm a professional amateur. I'm distracted because there's a hummingbird stuck in here. Look. I want to help it get out, but I don't want to hurt him. Anyway, I'm going to try to help this hummingbird get out of the garage. And thanks for coming and hanging out while I built this. And I hope you'll come hang out again with me soon.